Okay. Now let's take a look at this Holybro Kopis. And this guy was a real freaking trooper, I gotta say. It flew basically all weekend. It did not survive without some damage. So the first thing I want to show you guys is this. You can see we have lost one of the little protective toes here, and it speaks to this is ouch, I poked myself. This is Holybro will tell you this is not foam core carbon, because foam core carbon has a little bit of a bad name. And when I did the review of this, some people in the comments were like, oh, it's foam core carbon, it's crap. And Holybro reached out to me and said, no, it is not. It is carbon fiber impregnated foam. I don't know, but they insisted it was a custom thing that they researched and sourced. I don't know, but you can see that it did have a little bit of a disadvantage, because you can see this is, I guess it's maybe 2 millimeter, maybe 1.5 millimeters. I'm not sure the thickness. I'd have to look. The carbon, when the carbon went, you can see that the foam popped. It just popped right off. And if you had a solid end, like I'm sure I can find one right here. This is the Armatan Chameleon TI. You can see that as it takes that damage, it sort of wears down, but it doesn't just break off. So I did not break it. I crashed the crap out of this thing. I mean, I definitely feel like I can vouch for its strength. I crashed the crap out of it, and it didn't break. But here at the end where those motor protectors are, you can definitely see the weakness, that when it does take a hit that's able to break it, it just snaps right off. So,
Does that foam or whatever compress it off? Like when you're tightening down the nuts, butter nuts?
It's totally rigid. It's not. Oh. I've seen some carbon with like open, like I don't know what kind of foam it is, but yeah, this is not. It's like this. It's not carbon, but whatever it is, it's not foam.
Can you humor us because it's broken on that tip and dig at that with an X-Acto or something so we can see it?
Sure. It's not foam though.
Right.
I mean, they're not just
the not foam,
the
like
stuff. We have to call it the not foam. Yeah, hang on. Let me find.
So in other words, it doesn't compress. It's very rigid.
So here it is, and you can see as I scrape at it. See, that's clearly not foam. Like they're not just Holybro's not just full of BS. It's something other than carbon. But what do you think of that? Is that what you're looking for?
Yeah.
Yeah. So the
kind
idea
soft,
is that that's
a little soft.
Well, I mean, I'm scraping with a steel screwdriver. I mean, it's I can scrape it away.
But it's not like the PTFE that a rag is out of, for instance.
Exactly. No, whatever it is, it's some kind of a composite material. Yeah, and the idea is that they want to lighten up the weight. That's the idea.
That's fun.
And add stiffness. Well, I mean, I don't think you can call it foam.
It's highly compressed foam.
I don't know.
Why is it so soft otherwise? I mean,
I mean, it's not. Is it soft? I'm scraping at it with a steel screwdriver. I mean, it's scraping away a little. It's not like I'm gouging bits of it out. I don't know.
But more is coming off than if you scraped on the carbon plate.
Well, I mean, okay, it's not as hard as carbon. I'll give you that.
And if you scraped on the raggy, I think the same amount would come off as a carbon.
Well, I don't know about the raggy. So here's the biggest complaint I had about this quad after this weekend. They send it with. It's going to be hard for me to demonstrate this to you because they are. Most of them are gone. Yeah, see this? That's a plastic screw. Where are its friends? Oh, you can kind of see that the screw head is broken off down in there. And there, and there. Yeah.
Oh,
nope.
Man.
So I don't know. I'm not sure what to say about this. Like, part of me wants to go, oh, hey, Holybro, you should ship this with metal screws. But the problem with metal screws is that they then translate shock into the stack. But I feel like I don't like the thing where you'll take a big long screw and put it up through the whole stack.
You don't like that?
So there's two reasons I don't like that. One is that it makes it harder to maintain because you got to kind of lift everything off and then take it out. Right now, if I wanted to work on this ESC, I could take this standoff off, lift off the top two, and just set them aside. But if I had
Wait,
one
how
screw,
are you taking that standoff off?
I would just like reach in with a hemostat and unscrew it, kind of like that.
But won't that? Is it not the kind?
This is just
like
a male to female.
Standoff?
It's nylon.
Yeah, but
why
if
won't
you
that work?
Screw it off of the bottom.
I could take this one off. I could screw this one out.
If you screw it off of the bottom one, it screws it into the thing above it.
Or I could take this one out then. I could turn this one the other way. That would work. I don't know. I could theoretically take these apart, is my point, without having to lift each of them off one at a time. And then the other thing I don't like is that putting the screws up through the bottom, I feel like that transmits shock into the stack worse. Now, if you soft mounted your flight controller, maybe that's a different deal. But I feel like that anytime the bottom plate takes a hit, all that stress goes up into your stack, and that results in more dead flight controllers. That's my theory. Whereas if you have nylon standoffs, then less of that shock gets transmitted into the flight controller. But I feel like the bottom screws really need to be metal, or this will happen. Literally one screw holding my whole stack down.
But then when you have a good solid wreck and break a plastic standoff, sometimes you launch the FC and lose it anyway.
My problem with the nylon ones is that they break, and to replace them is always like taking the whole quad apart and the whole stack apart. I would rather it be a little bit more tedious to take it apart on the occasions that I have to do maintenance than to have to, on the weekly, take it apart in the field.
Yeah, right. That's the trade-off. I mean, I almost never break these standoffs, but these are the ones that take the hits. So I would argue that's the good compromise. And the other thing is, I mean, you may not agree. The other thing is that these things didn't just come out; they broke off. So I tried to like put a replacement in. I just grab a replacement M3 and stick it in there, and oops, no, I'm gonna have to back these out, and that's a real shame.
Exactly, and you have to get in there with needle nose. Like you have to take the top. You're gonna have to take that whole thing apart to get at it.
Yeah.
And
yep.
That's why I don't like running the nylon ones, is having to do that over and over and over in the field.
Yep. There you go.
So you don't ever break those when you fly on grass?
Not these. I mean, these are not broken even as of today. Probably because the hit that would have broken them broke these. So I don't know. I'm not even sure that I'm right. Pardon me. I'm not even sure that I'm right about the screw going up through the stack being worse for
liquid electrical tape or something on your power terminal?
Yeah, some kind of, that's what I think it is, yeah. This is a ready to fly, so I didn't build it. Yeah, but that's what it looks like.
I've not seen that before, but interesting.
I would personally use conformal just because it's a little easier to apply, but liquid electrical tape does look nice. And I really like that they did this on the ready to fly. It really shows. I mean, that's a dangerous place to not have protection. You could easily short that, and it's very nice that they thought to do that. So, yeah.
How did they get it to look so nice, man? Every time I use a liquid electrical tape, I got strings of it everywhere.
I don't know. Maybe some special.
Add some. Add a little
special. Gotcha. Send it up a little bit.
Chinese electrical tape, not safe for American consumption.
Use it like once a year.
Yeah, probably that too. Probably if it gets on your skin, it'll kill you.
No, come on. Anyway, yeah, Stingy, I'm not sure that I'm right. It's just a theory. But if you look at how much a bottom plate flexes, like even if it's built, they can have a lot of flex. And I just am concerned that if you have that screw going all the way up through the stack, it's going to transmit a lot of force to the electronics and maybe crack a trace or something. But it definitely is more secure, especially in a case like this. So, yeah, there you go. So the motors held up very well. No complaints. They did a good job. They have not got any, they're not out of round or anything. And I have even like you can see this one took a bit of a whack and still doing okay. I have not had any problems with these motors. I have a theory about motors, that more expensive motors don't necessarily perform better. In fact, we know from empirical data that they don't perform better necessarily on day one. You can look at thrust tests and whatnot, and you can find a $10 motor, like the DYS Samguk, that'll make just as much thrust as a $25 motor. But I have a theory that the more expensive motors, they wear better. It's not a guarantee. You could still kill one your first pack out on asphalt. I mean, it is possible, but yeah, that's my theory. And these guys have done a really good job.
The money is in the bearing. The money is in the bearings.
Yep, that's absolutely true. Hang on 1 second. Yeah. I do think so. The higher quality bearings and oftentimes the metal or the design of the bell is more durable. I think that after flying for 50 packs, you'll find that the more expensive motors are more likely to still be serviceable. Not a guarantee. Like I say, somebody out there has a story of buying a $25 T-motor, and the first pack out, they crashed. Just the tiniest crash. I just clipped a branch. I can't believe the motor destroyed itself after clipping a branch and falling on a bag of pillows. And yet...